Okay, so let's get to it. All right, this is what I was showing you before. And so if you'll notice, I'm going to get real close to the screen so I can actually read it. He actually says, and this is Nathan Wilson. Oh, poor Nathan. He says, McDaniel is intent on delaying this proceeding again to prevent Camden from finally evicting her. Up at the top it says McDaniel is residing in Camden's luxury 2-bedroom apartments for free. In fact, she has been living in that luxury unit for nearly 2 years without paying rent. And then he's got this footnote, and the footnote says, it's a lie, McDaniel has paid Camden a total of $3,758.18, which appears to be the application fee, administrative fee, move-in, prorate, and first month rent. McDaniel has made no payment of any kind to Camden since August 2023. Her current outstanding balance is $65,000. Okay, all right. Ready, let's get into this. Drink water and mind your business. It looks like Nathan didn't learn that. All right, so let's actually talk about the most obvious falsehoods that he made in his statements. Because number one, they constitute Rule 11 violations of law because they're inflammatory and defamatory statements and they serve no legitimate purpose. So he's definitely exposed himself to sanctions. So we're looking at it. The most obvious part of his lie is that my rent with my amenities added in was $1,833. I didn't have a deposit. He doesn't say anything about a deposit, but you'd have to add that in to make his math. The math just isn't mathing. How am I paying almost $4,000, but my initial administrative fee and my application fees were effectually absorbed? Even at $450, that math is not mathing. We're talking about $2,200. Where's the other money coming from? I mean, especially if all I paid was the first month's rent and I paid no other payments, that doesn't make any sense. I was here from April 21st, 2023 until July 2nd when I discovered the major water leak in my apartment. And at that point, no, I'm not paying any rent for July. And yes, we need to immediately start discussions about this insurance claim. And that's exactly what occurred. And I was promised, okay, in those negotiations that I would receive a credit for July rent. They didn't pay that. Let's be very, very clear. Also, I was expecting them to actually cooperate with the insurance company, American National Property and Casualty Company, okay? Because they needed to settle up with me. I'm the injured party here, me and my son. Nobody else in this situation. You've got a negligent installation of an HVAC system, and that's on you. I have no control over your HVAC system. I've done nothing. This is not an issue of contributory negligence. This is not an issue of any of that stuff. This is your shit stank, and you need to fix it. You need to clean it up, okay? Not me. So I was looking for a credit for July's rent, and then payment for my living expenses, which increased, and then of course payment for my moving expenses. I actually lost square footage in my apartment. The irony is that even though my unit 212 it only was a 1-bedroom, which is another part of this matter that needs to be addressed. Because I believe that they experienced very quick karma, because Steve told me, and I felt like it was a lie, that there were no 2 bedrooms available. And I told him I would accept a 1-bedroom with the intent to transfer into a 2-bedroom when they became available, because they were in different phases of development, which is very common for new properties. All right. So, but anyway, on that notion that they were faking the funk, look, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me. And I made myself available to move into a similar unit, but they did not have any similar unit available at all. Not in the price range, not in the square footage. So he showed me what they had, and that's what they had at, because I didn't want to move outside of the property. That would have been a more burdensome task to accomplish, especially during that time. So I agreed to take one of the 2 bedrooms, but said up front that I'm definitely include this in my insurance claim because it's justified. I'm not doing anything underhanded, and that entails an increase in my living expenses, which has not been paid to date. The difference, I believe, was $638. I'm not looking at it right now, but y'all can do the math in that regard. 13, I don't know what I signed, 14-month lease, because I'm always signing a 13 to 15-month lease to get whatever promotions I can. Basically, they owe me upwards to $10,000 for the increase in living expenses and the $2,500 for the credit for July rent that they never paid. Now let's clear up the other part of his lot. I'm not preventing the proceeding from going ahead. You're not entitled to eviction, sir, because your client, Camden Noda, committed the first breach, not me. And then the mutuality of obligations, it's in their court, not mine, because they have failed to meet their obligations under statutory law, which then would move me and require me to then pay rent. But I haven't withheld any rent. Let's be very clear. Think about it. I filed the first complaint between us. Hello? Their complaint that they filed in Mecklenburg County was retaliatory eviction, which is also unlawful under law. So I'm entitled to punitive damages as well, because you can't try to evict someone if you, landlord, are at fault. That makes no sense. And so factually, the only person that's been holding up this process is them, because they were trying to pull a trick. They didn't want my case to be heard in Wake County because there was no gatekeeper order against me in Wake County. And they knew without the gatekeeper order, which they have used to unjustly win cases against me, they know without a gatekeeper order, they can't win shit against me. I'm not being arrogant. We're just being factual, because at the end of the day, not only did I pay attention in law school, but I don't file frivolous complaints. I've explained this to y'all before. When I get to the point I'm filing a complaint with the court of law, that means that I have attempted to resolve this matter without getting the court involved. And when I get the court involved, it's because the court needs to be involved. So yeah, basically they've been trying to strong arm me, fake the funk, committing all these fraudulent acts, thinking that it's gonna land, and that shit ain't landing. And now they're big mad because everything they did that was bad boomeranged on them. Don't blame me. And not only did it boomerang, then they started retaliatory harassment. Yeah. Drew a penis on the back of my door. Drew a penis on my car. And of course, that involves punitive damages as well, to which I am rightfully entitled. Now let's address his flippant comment that I'm living in a luxury apartment of theirs, right? And undeservedly so. Please, I've lived in luxury apartments my entire life. Yeah, this is my lease from Asbury Flats, which I completed and got my deposit back. Cortland Whitehall, where I stayed for almost 4 years. That's a the lease. And this for American Homes for Rent, the 5-bedroom home that I rented. So please, honey,